Hi everyone, welcome to the webinar about studying your bachelor's in the Netherlands. My name is Luisa and I will be your host for this webinar today. Next to me are Lidewij and Chiara. They are both bachelor students here at Wageningen University and they will be able to answer all of the questions that you have. If you have any questions, please send them using the orange button in your screen and we will try to answer them, all of them, during the webinar. Lidewij and Chiara, would you like to introduce yourselves?
Sure. Hi, I'm Chiara. I'm a third-year student here, and I'm studying food technology currently, and I originally come from Indonesia.
Hi, I'm Lidewij, and I'm in my second year, and I'm studying Management and Consumer Studies, and I am from South Africa.
Thank you so much for being here and for helping with this webinar. We would also like to know from where you're watching us from. So please, if you are watching us from home, answer this question that we will put in your screen. We would like to know where you are from. So you can type your answer by clicking on the orange button. We will get back to the results of the poll within a few minutes. In this webinar, we will talk about all the questions that you have of studying in Wageningen, about the student life, and also about the bachelor programs that we offer at this moment, the English bachelor programs that we offer. All of the questions that you have are welcome, and if you still have burning questions, please send them, and we will try to answer them during these 45 to 60 minutes. If you are watching from home and you have questions about studying in Wageningen and the student life, please click on the orange button and ask your questions. The first topic we would like to talk about is the bachelor programs that we offer at Wageningen University. So, Lidewij, can you maybe give us a general overview of the programs?
Yes, we have 7 English source bachelor programs, so that is Animal Sciences, Environmental Sciences, Food Technology, Soil, Water and Atmosphere, as well as Tourism, which is a joint degree. And then we also have a new degree, which is Marine Sciences. And then your bachelor's is 3 years in general, and then your first year is a very basic year. We have all the basic subjects, and then in your second year as well, although sometimes in your second year, depending on what you study, you can also already start to choose some of your subjects. And then in your third year is really your specialization here, where a half a year you do your bachelor's thesis, and then the other half a year you can choose your own subjects to decide, what you want to do. And then Wageningen works in periods, so then we have 6 periods every year. And then in general, a period is 8 weeks long, where you have 6 academic weeks and 2 weeks to study and write exams. And some weeks or some periods are much shorter, so then you have 4 weeks instead of the 8 weeks. Yes.
Thank you so much. Do you maybe have the results from our poll already?
Yes, we do. I don't think everyone's answered, but people from a non-European country is 71%. And then we have 29% who is from a European country, and no Dutchies with us today.
If you have questions about the study programs, please use the orange button and send them, because we would like to answer them now. I don't know, Chiara, if we have any questions about the study programs yet, but otherwise we can talk about our next topic.
So far, we don't really have any questions.
Okay, so for our viewers, please don't forget to send your questions. We're going to continue talking about the admission requirements, but if you have questions about the bachelor programs, please send them using the orange button in your screen. So, Chiara, can you maybe tell us a little bit about the requirements to study in Wageningen?
Sure. Well, firstly, you have to be in possession of a secondary school leaving certificate, either a Dutch WO diploma or an equivalent to that, which you could find in the university website. And you also have to have studied certain subjects at the required level for the specific program you're trying to apply to. And I could go over them a little, maybe. For animal sciences, you need mathematics and chemistry. Environmental sciences, you need math, physics, and chemistry. And for food technology, you need math, chemistry, and either biology or physics. For international land and water management, you need math and physics. For the new marine science course, you need math, chemistry, and biology. And for soil, water, atmosphere, you need math, physics, and chemistry. And tourism, you need math. Math is very important, guys. And other than this, you also need to meet the English requirements, and you could take these in form of like a test such as TOEFL or the IELTS. And if you're taking a Dutch course, which we're not really covering here because we're assuming that most of you are internationals, you need a Dutch language requirement.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
You can also look at the website for checking the specific requirements for each program, but the general requirements are the ones that Chiara just mentioned. And also, if you go to the website, you can see which course you need, for instance, for the English language requirements. And also, if your diploma is equivalent to the Dutch diploma, you can check that on the website. You can download the information, and there will be like comparison from your country with the Netherlands, and then you will know if your diploma is equivalent. I don't know if we have any questions, but maybe we can answer some questions from our viewers.
Yes, we do have a question from Marin. And Marin says she would like to study a master's in nutrition at Wageningen, but she doesn't have a bachelor's. Do I have to study at Wageningen in order to qualify, or can I study a bachelor's in biochemistry at Maastricht?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't need to study in Wageningen. You just need to have like these requirements that we just mentioned, but it doesn't matter if it's in Wageningen or in any other university, as long as you meet the requirements for the master's programs. Well, that will be for the master's, but now we're going to focus on mainly on the bachelor's. But do we have any other questions regarding the admission requirements?
Yes, this is kind of about the admission requirements. Nadia asked if how you would have to take the matching test for the bachelor's degree.
Do you guys want to tell us a little bit?
Matching test? Wasn't that the... Nadia, maybe you can say if I'm wrong, but the matching test is that what you get like way in the beginning, where you get an email about a matching?
Yes.
Yeah.
So then, if I remember correctly, you get an email saying that you should take the matching test, and then you go through a link, and then I can't remember how long it takes, but I think shorter than half an hour, I think. But then you just answer all the questions, and then you see if you are actually if you match with the study program that you chose. But this is really for yourself. It's not for, let's say that you want to study food technology, for example, and you actually match better with environmental sciences, then you're not going to be like not get admission for food technology anymore. It's just that for yourself, so that you know, oh, maybe I should check more into environmental sciences. But yeah, you just get a link when you apply.
Yeah, and this is after the application.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah, but it's not like it's an exam that if you don't pass it, you will not be accepted. It's more for you to know if your interest matches the program that you are going to apply, and if you match also with the university education programs. So it's just a background check, but it's not like a test that you pass or not pass. So don't worry about that. And also something that maybe we can talk about your personal experiences is if you don't meet the requirements immediately, for instance, about the subjects that are required, you can take courses to meet these requirements. For instance, Lidevai, you did something like that?
Yes. Initially, I actually studied food technology for a year, but I didn't have the sufficient chemistry because I'm from South Africa. So then I did a course it wasn't through the university, but because the university doesn't offer that, but I do tell you exactly where your options. So I spoke to the SSC, and then they said, okay, yes, I have to take chemistry, and then they said which schools I can go to. So then, I did just doing 2 months. 2 months. I did a chemistry course and wrote the exam. And then I got admission. So yeah, that was actually went pretty smooth. Yeah.
And did it go also smooth for you, Chiara, or did you have any difficulties with your application, or it was all easy? And
personally, my application was smooth because I took the international baccalaureate, which is already meeting the requirements, and all the application for visa, things like that, was like done by the university, as well for the bank setup, but I'm not sure if they still do that though. So.
I think so, but we will maybe talk about it.
Okay.
Now we would like maybe to talk about something like the student life in Wageningen, and you can maybe tell us a little bit about your experiences. Lidevai, do you want to tell us something about your experience as a student in Wageningen?
Yes, definitely. Oh, you can see my photos. Yes, I have a really good time in Wageningen. I mean, Wageningen is quite small compared to other student cities, although Wageningen is very central, so it's very easy to get around by bus and train. It's also super easy to commute to the university because you can either take the bus or the bike. Around all the general student livings is around 10-15 minutes with a bike, so that's really, really easy. There's a lot of different student associations in Wageningen, so really there's something for everyone. Wageningen is definitely very international orientated, so it's quite easy to integrate with the Dutch student associations, but also there's also specific international student associations. There's also sports associations. I mean, there's a very nice sports center with all sorts of sports you can possibly imagine. So that's very, very nice to join that as well. Yes, there's a lot of like small bars and cafes you can go out in, and of course in the weekends if you'd like, you can go with your friends to the bigger cities like the very touristy Amsterdam or Utrecht or Maastricht or yeah. So yes, that's very, very nice.
Thank you so much. Before we ask how Chiara's experience is, do you want to let me know if there are some questions from our viewers?
Yes, there's a question about when the marine sciences application will be available.
Yeah, so the exact date is not known, but you can apply around March of 2023. And you can check that in the website of the Marine Sciences program. Normally you have to apply for all bachelor programs before the 1st of May. And I think they will open the applications for this new program around March. And then you can check that already in the website that is updated. I think there is also an option for you to sign in for a Keep Me Informed page, where they can send you an email when the application will be open. And there is also a contact form. You can contact the team Marine Sciences and they can give you maybe more specific information. But it will be available for applying soon, like probably next month. Chiara, do you want to tell us how your student experience is here in Wageningen?
Sure. I mean, most of it was covered really, but as you can see from the B-reels on the slide, I do have a good time with my friends. And we do enjoy the outdoors a lot here, especially during the warmer months. But yeah, one of the biggest changes that I had to overcome when I moved here was the weather, because as much as there are warm months, the colder months are not that great. And it didn't take me that long for me to get settled in, because there's a lot of students that were on the same boat and we all kind of like helped each other out. And really the community's great here, so I don't think you'll have a hard time settling in.
Ah, that is great.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. And do we have any more questions?
There are some specific questions, but
Yeah.
I think these can be directed for the
Student Service Center.
yeah. For the student
But
service.
actually, I mean, we can go through them.
If I stand correctly, this question is from Alya, and then I was from Turkey, and says that currently his high school certificates matched that what is on the website of Wageningen. Was asking, yes, it's high enough. Will you get accepted by the university, or will my chance be lower because it did not study that don't have an IB or AP diploma? And can you realistically actually get accepted to Wageningen, that is also a EU citizen?
Yeah, so we don't actually ask for a specific GPA for the bachelors. Like, you need to have passed your courses and you need to have studied the required subjects that we mentioned at the beginning. But of course, your diploma has to match the Dutch equivalent. So that's what I was mentioning at the beginning. You can check all the admission requirements at the website, and there you can see that there are specifications for where you're coming from, and if the high school diplomas from Turkey, for instance, are equivalent to the Dutch diploma, and if you can get admitted. But if there are very specific cases, we suggest that you contact the admissions department, which is located at the Student Service Center, and their email address is ssc at WUR.nl. All right. So, Chiara, do you want to tell us why you chose to study in Wageningen?
Well, yeah, one of the things that stood out to me is that the ratio between students and tutors are actually quite, it's quite close. I mean, there's one tutor for every 7 students, so you get a really hands-on experience with your mentors. And the campus itself is also really beautiful, green, and modern at the same time. So it's great for studying, especially. It might turn you off that there isn't a McDonald's here, but I promise you it's perfect for someone who wants to study in time and like complete their bachelor's. And the kebab shops make up for it. Right? And there's also a really great international community here. There's like 104 nationalities, and 23% of the students here are actually internationals. So for an international student, it's a perfect community. And personally, I based studying here, like my choice of studying here, on the ranking for the program I'm doing, because the university is the #1 university in the world for the field of agricultural sciences, food sciences, and environment and ecology. So that's obviously another plus. Yes.
All right, thank you so much. Well, now that we know a little bit about Wageningen and Wageningen University, do we have any questions about Wageningen or the Netherlands, or maybe any other questions from our viewers? I mean, we will talk about housing soon. Mm-hmm. So if you have questions about that, you can send them already. But if you have questions about how it is to live in Wageningen and how it is to be a student in the Netherlands, you can still send them. Otherwise, we will continue with our next topic.
Well,
or do you have a question?
There is a question about admissions again.
Yeah.
Devin asked if we could learn about our admission results before the 1st of May.
Yeah, so the 1st of May is the deadline for you to apply for the programs, but you can apply before, except for the Marine Sciences program, because that is not open yet. The applications for Marine Sciences are not open, but for the rest of the programs, they're already open. So you can apply already, and the usual answer takes up to 6 to 8 weeks, from 6 to 8 weeks, but it of course depends on the amount of applications that the admissions department receives at that moment. But of course you can get it before the 1st of May. And just to be clear again, is the Marine Sciences program that you can only apply from March, but for the rest of the English bachelor programs, you can already apply. Well, thank you for that, and then we will continue talking about how to find a room in Wageningen and how is the student housing situation here. So can you maybe, both of you, tell us a little bit about where you live in Wageningen?
Well, I currently live in a private housing company type of dorm. So I share my place with 10 other students, and we share the kitchen, the bathroom, but we have our own rooms with like a private sink and everything. But the easiest way to find a room is through Idealist, and room.nl is like a good website for this. You just have to sign up, and then you'll apply for a bunch of rooms at the same time. Yeah, that's how I got my first room as well when I first got here. It was through room.nl, and it was like a studio. And the process itself wasn't hard, but you do need to be lucky and sign up to as many rooms as you can and not be too picky. Yeah. What about you?
Yeah, I didn't go through room.nl or Idealist in the beginning, but that really works on priority, like where you live. Mm-hmm. For example, if you live far, if you don't live in the Netherlands, or I'm not too sure what's the radius, but if you live outside of that, then it's definitely a lot easier to get a room, because then you'll like move up on the list to get a room earlier. And maybe another thing also is when you go online, you won't see a lot of rooms available, but that is only because the rooms you can only see the rooms once they are actually available, once those students who moved out. So you'll only start seeing the rooms like in the summer. So usually it is a bit like last minute, but if you have priority and you're on the list, then you'll probably be fine. But yeah, I also actually got my my room through a private housing company. So also I live with I live with 15 other students, and we have a big kitchen and a big living room. And then the same as what you said, I think that's quite common in the Netherlands, that everyone has their own room and their own sink, so you can brush your teeth in your room or whatever. So yeah, we have that. And then, but I know a lot of my friends also got their rooms via a student association or via Facebook page. We have a Facebook page in Wageningen where you can quite easily find a room. There's people sell furniture and plants and rooms for rent there. So a lot of my friends also got their rooms via Facebook. Yeah.
Yeah, also there's like this thing with room.nl that you get priority if you sign up earlier. So the moment you get accepted for the university, you probably should apply to room.nl to like increase your chances.
Yeah, that is very important. Like we have pointed out the most important things about finding a room here in the slide. So like the easiest way to get a room is via Idealis and room.nl, which are Idealis is the biggest organization that deals the issues of housing in Wageningen, and room.nl is a platform that they use to offer the rooms. And indeed, if you register, if you are already accepted to Wageningen, you should register in room.nl. You have to pay a fee, and that is a fee that you have to pay once. And I think it's like, 35 euros or 30 or 15, yeah. I don't remember 40, exactly. Or 40 euros.
And it lasts for 8 years.
Yeah, okay. So. It's 40 euros and it lasts for 8 years. And then what Lidevai was saying is also true. Like at this moment, there are probably not a lot of rooms available because the students will graduate like around the summer, and then there will be more rooms available. But also very important, what Chiara said, is if you see a room and you like it and you apply for it, you should try to not be too picky at the beginning and just accept the room that you have. And then when you come back or when you come to Wageningen, you can already look for other options, just as they did, and you can find maybe something in the private sector or something. But I think also with Idealis and room.nl, maybe it is a little bit cheaper. And there are different options, like there are rooms that you can rent for yourself that have their own kitchen, their own toilet, their own shower, so there are studios. You can also find rooms that are furnished, and that means that you have a bed and a desk and I think a lamp or something, a closet. But you can also find rooms that are completely unfurnished, but unfurnished means that they are empty, like empty, completely empty, and even you have to put the floor, like you need to put, I don't know how to explain this, but this floor that you click to each other. And you have to find your bed and your desk and your chairs and everything. And you can find those things in Wageningen Student Plaza, which is the group that Lidevai was mentioning. But I think for international students is maybe recommendable to get a furnished room so you don't have to just carry around a mattress while you come here. And also, like most of the student housing are close to campus or on the campus. Well, some of them are in the city center, but it's all cyclable distance. And the price ranges from 200 to 500. And if you get like private apartments or if you rent a room with a private landlord, it's a little bit more expensive. But we have a lot of blogs about it in our international students blog. So you should definitely subscribe and read the tips that we have there. Do we have any other questions?
Maybe a question that fits to it was from Nadia again, who just asked, is it easy to get accommodation? And from my personal experience, it was, I think, moving and housing is always a bit stressful. I think there's no way denying it. It's always stressful. But for me, it went quite smooth, actually. But I just got lucky because it's not as hectic. Wageningen definitely isn't as hectic as like bigger student cities, for example. I know Rotterdam, it's really hard to get a room. So here it's definitely more doable. However, you can't be too picky. I think you just have to, like Louisa said, you have to just take what you get. And then, because once you are here and you start to make friends and you start to kind of see what it's like to live here and maybe you see all sorts of other options, then it's so much easier to move because then you can also find someone else to come and live in your room or maybe change or, so I think that's really important just to keep in mind. Yeah.
Thank you. Do we have any other questions?
Yes, there's a question about what a person could do after graduating from food technology from Alia. and the positions that you could get in the business world?
Well, that is a very specific question. I mean, of course, it depends on what specialization you're going to take or what is your interest in the field of food technology. It also, like, most of the food technology students want to do a master's afterwards in food technology here in Wageningen or somewhere else. I don't know if that's your experience, if you want that. And there are also a lot of career days at the university where you can actually go and ask or have conversations with different companies that, I don't know, design food products, or companies that have something to do with nutrition for kids in different countries. Well, it depends on your interest, but I don't know if you already have checked any of their options, but I think it's better if you check our future career website. On the page of the Bachelor of Food Technology, if you check there, there is a section that says future career, and then there are some testimonials from alumnus or from alumni and what they're doing at the moment. So most of them actually have done the master's afterwards. And I think maybe that's what most of the students do, but I don't know. I mean, you can also try to ask other students from the program. We also have like the option of chatting with students that it's called Unibody, and you can maybe ask them or maybe send an email to the study advisor of the program to ask what options there are. But there are a lot of companies like where people can work in the field of food technology. I think it's a field that is very broad and it has a lot of options. Do we have any other questions, or maybe we can talk about how the teaching methods are in Wageningen? Like, do you want to tell something about it? Like, do you always have to be like in the lessons, and do you have a lot of group work, or how does it work?
Well, it really depends on the course. I think all courses have lectures, and many courses have group work, and not all of it is compulsory. Usually only like group work and tutorials are compulsory, but lectures you could either attend or not, but you probably should attend. I mean, you're in university. But yeah, most of it is already totally offline now. And yeah, most of it is in the classroom, pretty much. And there's a lot of lab work as well, if you're interested in that. Yeah. It depends on the course, really.
And the lectures are recorded, right? Or are they not recorded anymore?
I mean, I had a course now where it gets recorded, but they don't upload it until the end of the week. So I think it's also just more for you to be more motivated to actually go to the lectures.
Yeah.
So then it will be recorded, but then sometimes it's uploaded immediately, sometimes it's live, sometimes it's only available later. But it is nice because then you can always go back on it. But yeah, you also have a really nice schedule. We have like an application that you download on your phone, and then you can see the schedule there. Or there's another website online. In your first year, they like show you everything, where you can always see your schedule and what time and where. And usually you also have some time to switch in between classes. I mean, usually if you have in your bachelor's, if you have a long period of 8 weeks, you'll have 2 courses of 6 credits each, and then you have a morning course, an afternoon course, and then you will have class, for example, from 9 to 12 with breaks in between, of course, and then again at 2 your afternoon class will start. So, and then yes, if you have like scientific type of bachelor's, then yes, there will definitely be lab work, and lab work is also, yeah, it can be sometimes it's an hour and a half, and sometimes you're there from 2 to 6, but then of course also with breaks. So yeah, that depends, I guess, from course to course.
Yeah, pretty much.
Thank you so much. Do we have any other questions?
There is a question from Devin. They ask, what is Wageningen? Sorry, I still can't pronounce it. Sorry. What is our gap year policy here?
Oh, what do you mean? Maybe you can explain that question better, Devin? Because I don't know what you mean. Like, you mean if you can have a gap year after your bachelor's, after your high school to study your bachelor's? Because I don't think we have any specific policy. As long as you meet the requirements and maybe have some experience, then it will be fine. I don't think that will be a problem, but I don't know if that's what you mean actually. So if you can explain to us the question better, then that would be nice.
Maybe I attended a lecture once, and then someone asked a question like, can you actually, in between your bachelor, like let's say after your first year that you want to go and travel or go back home for whatever reason, or that you'd like take a year off in between your studies. And from what I heard from that, it is allowed, just as long as you should just don't enroll for any courses. But then you can't do it in your first year because you first need to get your BSA, and then from your second year then you can like not enroll, and then you won't have class. So
yeah, that might be what he's asking. I don't know actually, but if you were satisfied with the answer, then please let us know. And if you weren't, also let us know. But yeah, I mean, that's the, he says, I mean that after admission, can I take a year off? You mean like if you apply to Wageningen, if you can maybe come to Wageningen the next year. Actually, I think your admission is valid for 1 year, but I think then the next year you have to reapply. And we do have 2 like openings, or not openings, but the year is divided into periods where you can start your programs, and one is February and the other one is September, but I don't think the bachelors in English are starting in February. I think only the bachelors that are in Dutch. But maybe we can also talk about something that is very fun, like did you guys participate in the introduction days at the beginning of the year?
Sadly, I didn't because COVID rules, so I had to attend the online one, and it wasn't the best, but afterwards they also had a program from one of the international student associations here, where the kind of like the group, they became like a buddy family, and we get to meet up afterwards, and it was nice. So yeah, they just put me into one of the random actual offline introduction day groups, and they were nice people, so it's great if you still need to meet people at the start.
Did you actually do it, or?
Yeah, I was. We were lucky because we were just the year after you, so we had like a half Corona policy introduction days ARD, but not fully. So yeah, it was in person, and you get it divided into a group randomly, and it's sort of allocated to when you're first year bachelors, or everyone in your bachelors, and then for masters there's a separate week, I think. But yeah, and then also in groups, and with usually I think with people that sort of do your program or something like that. And that was really nice. I actually met some of my friends in that group I still keep in touch with. So that was really, really nice. And we had all sorts of activities. I mean, we had bar hopping, and we had activities on the university grounds where we did like sports and icebreakers, and we ate at the university itself. Although that changed because I know last year where it wasn't where it wasn't a COVID here, they like ate at different restaurants, and you had like a budget or something. And it was way more interactive with the Wageningen itself, where for us it was really on university because of the COVID rules. But however, like it was really, really nice, and then you also get to see like all the different student activities and associations, and you get a tour of the university because in the beginning it can be a bit confusing. So yeah, if you can attend it, I would definitely recommend it. It was definitely like one of the best weeks. Like if I think back on it, like I was so tired afterwards because you meet everyone and you want to talk to everyone, and there's just so much going on. And in the evenings there's parties, and then if you like that you go there, and then yeah, so that was really, really, really nice. So if you can, I would definitely recommend it.
Yeah, and that's like around the last week of August, or maybe?
Yeah, the last, like just before the university, like a week or something before the university starts.
Yeah, it's definitely recommended to come. And there are also like moments where they sell bikes, which is very important. Maybe we didn't mention that, but in Wageningen the main transportation mode is bicycle, because Wageningen is very small, but you still need, well, the mobility to get to places fast, and then everybody uses a bike, and it's very safe. So at the beginning of the year you can buy your bike, and they can maybe show you the important places of the town, and yeah, there are always a lot of events. So even though it's very small, it's a lively town. I would also like to ask our viewers if they have any other questions. You still can send them using the orange button in the screen. We still have some minutes for the webinar, so if you still have things that you would like to know about the studying in Wageningen or the programs, please let us know. And are there any other questions at this moment, actually?
There's one question. I think it's a personal question for me. If you're interested in food technology, you were asking about my career goals in the near future or after the master's and what each of us are planning to do. Do you want to start with your career goals,
okay.
maybe?
Career for me is still very far. Yeah, like I said, I did first year I did food technology, but eventually I decided to switch to more social studies. So I still have the food tech background, which I really like. Even now I want to do something more social. So after my bachelor's, I will probably do a master's. I'm not sure yet. I still have almost 2 years to decide, so I will see in the meantime if I will do a master's. Although I think I probably will. And then I was thinking maybe going into food safety or actually I haven't made my mind up at all. But I was thinking going into food safety or maybe also more the marketing side of it, or like I said, it's like 2 complete different areas. But I'll still figure out what I want to do. But at least also because next year then I can also start to like choose my own subjects. So then I can, with each subject that I choose, actually think about maybe get a more clear idea of what do I like and what I don't like. Because up to now I figured out what I really don't like, and some things I am still unsure of. So yeah.
Yeah, I also have the same thing. I still probably need to know what specialization I'm going into, and I have 6 months. Thanks for reminding me, by the way. But yeah, I'll see after my thesis, and then I'll continue my master's. But for the future, I'm really not sure yet. I still have like 2.5 years, so I'm gonna try not think about it and just live in the moment. But it's good that you're thinking about
Focus about that, yeah. It's important, but you also should enjoy your student life when you come to Wageningen, and then you will discover, maybe you have like a change of heart, like you start a program and then end up in another. It has happened. It happened to Lida.
Yeah, it happened to me.
So yeah, don't worry too much about that. But I also see a question about the honors program. So for the honors program, you have to apply for that when you are in your first year of the program, of the bachelor program. And there's also like an orientation course for the bachelors of honors or the honors program. And that is given in the period 5. And that's what Liv Devay was explaining at the beginning. Like we have the year is divided in different periods. And then in period 5, they offer this course when they will give orientation about the honors program, and then after that you can decide whether you want to participate or not, and then you have to apply for the honors program. But that's already when you are at the university and you have to see how you're doing and if you are willing to go like an extra mile, because it's going to be more demanding maybe, and you will only get the extra European credits if you complete the whole program, the whole honors program. And I think it's like 30 credits, which is like a lot of credits. It's like an internship or a thesis or something. So you need to think about it, but that's when you're here already. And I don't know if we have any other questions, maybe?
There is a question about reduced fees for transportation facilities if you're a student from Nadia. Well, about this, it depends. If you have a Dutch passport, if you're a Dutch student, yes. But not for international students, sadly. You don't have reduced fees. So you got a bike everywhere.
Yeah, but there are some packages that you can buy, like here for the public transport you need a card that is for the train and for the bus and everything. It's called an OV chip card, and you can apply for it in the website of NS, but that is also a step further when you're already here. And then you can choose for different plans. So for instance, there is one that you had like 40% discount if you travel on non-peak hours, and I don't actually know what the peak hours are. I think after 9 and before wait, after 9 and after 6? I don't know. Well, I mean, you get 40% discount, and I think you can also travel with someone else, and that person also gets a 40% discount. And there are also other plans where you maybe travel for free during the weekends, but you have to pay like a monthly fee or a yearly fee. So also in our international students blog, we have a lot of information about that. So you should definitely subscribe and read the experiences of other students. Do we have any questions, other questions?
I just want to add to the transportation subscription thingy. This only applies to trains though. Don't be fooled. I was fooled by it. I thought it meant all transportation. But no, it's just trains. So if you subscribe to it, you're not really going to use it inside the city. It's only if you want to travel outside.
Yeah, exactly. Not for the buses and stuff, it's for the train. And yeah, I mean, it's very easy to get to places in the Netherlands because there's connections, very well connections with the trains, but it is a little bit expensive. So yeah, you definitely should get one of those subscriptions. But there are also other options like carpooling and stuff. When you're here, you will see how it is to travel, and also outside of Europe. We also have a blog written by Lidevai about it, so you should read it in our international students blog. I think maybe we don't have questions at the moment, or do we?
We have one from Alia, which is, again, a personal question. Do you have any regrets about both your student life, social life, and academic life? Like, do you have...
I don't want to get too personal, but obviously, but also I see it as a learning step, like But overall, I think the community here is amazing, and you're not really gonna probably regret that much as long as you don't reach too far, I guess. For your social life. And for academic life, I don't think I have any regrets either. I mean, I think I'm choosing the right study for myself. I don't know about you though.
Yeah, I mean, I guess for me it's always like this, trying to get like a balance, because and also accepting stuff, because like just being okay with when you miss out, or like, I mean, in my first year I focused mostly on my student life, and which I don't regret. I mean, when at some point then I had like I almost failed the course because I didn't like pay enough attention. Then it was like just studying really, really hard, but then it was okay. But I don't regret that, because I had like, I really built a very good social foundation. So I like accepted the fact that at that point, like I maybe neglected my study a bit, but then I threw it, like, I was like, okay, no, let's pay more attention to that. So then I found the balance, I guess. Currently I'm definitely more focusing on my study than on my social life, but I think that's maybe also just with like being in an older year, because in your first year you are so excited about everything and you just want to go to everything. And now I'm really okay, well, yeah, sort of okay mostly, with skipping stuff and not doing stuff with my friends and focusing on my courses and that type of thing. So,
that is true though. I did get a lot of FOMO in the first year, and now I remember I do regret some things. I've ditched a couple exams, and now I have to take the resets for them. Don't do that, please. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I also did that, and it was not a good idea. But I was feeling a little bit sick, so I went home and thought, like, I will do it later. And that was a mistake, because then everybody had holidays except for me, because I had to take the exam. So you shouldn't do that.
Yeah, I have one tomorrow. My friends are out there having fun traveling, and I'm still stuck here, so.
But that's actually something very nice that you mentioned, is that there are resit exams. So if you actually fail an exam, you have the opportunity to do it again and again. I mean, of course, that's not what you should do. I mean, you should try to study for your exams. But if you fail for any reason, you can take it again, either in the summer break or in the winter break, which is, of course, not the best moment to do it because you want to have holidays, but there is the opportunity to do it. And another thing, like when you were asking about the regrets, is that we have a lot of support also for mental health and different activities at the university. So, for instance, there are like a sort of your stress week where they do a lot of activities where you, well, try to manage your stress levels, and if you have issues, you can also talk to counselors or your dean or your study advisor, and everybody is very flexible. And also, well, because there is like very close communication, as Chiara mentioned, like 1 to 7 with the tutors. If you don't understand something, you can go to them. So, well, of course there will be regrets, but that is also a personal thing. It can happen to anyone.
Yeah.
Do we have any other questions?
No, but we do have a little note from Monisha, who said that we are doing a great job, and they wanted us to know if they wanted to know if there will be similar webinar conducted for master programs.
Well, there are going to be different webinars. You can find that in our website, the webinars website, or at the Wageningen University, but in the webinar section, we will have a webinar about application and steps to enrollment. That will be on the 11th of April. And we will also have a webinar about how to apply for housing, or how to find housing, I mean. And we will have another one on the 6th of June. And we also have pre-departure webinars, which are like the instructions sort of for before coming to Wageningen, where we will mention like what you need to prepare and what you need to have for being here. So you can register to all of those webinars on our website. And I will also like to invite you for our online open days. We will have, well, you also have open days. For being in the campus open days, well, you have to come to Wageningen, which is very nice actually. You can visit the campus and you can talk to study advisors, you can talk to teachers, you can talk to students, and there will be presentations about the programs, and there will be like a presentation specifically for international students. But of course you have to come to the campus, so I don't know how realistic that is, but for the people that are able to do it, you can register on our website also, or if you put on Google Bachelor's Open Day Wageningen, you will find it. It is on the 18th of March on a Saturday, and is during the whole day from 9 to 5, something like this. But we also have the virtual open day, so that of course makes it easier for the people that are a little bit further. You can register also on our website, and then we have a platform where you can visit virtually our campus and talk to students and to study advisors also, and ask all of your questions in the chat. We will have presentations, we will have webinars. So definitely we recommend this as a next step if you still have questions about studying in Wageningen. Do you have any extra questions? I would like to ask that to our viewers, because we will soon end up with the webinar, but if we still have questions, of course we can go through them.
Yes, there's one from Kai Wen saying, are there any scholarships programs offered by the WUR or other international students? And he wants to do food technology.
Unfortunately for bachelors, I don't think there are a lot of scholarships. There are a couple of scholarships, I don't remember the name. I think one is called like Orange Tulip or something. I don't think they're full scholarships. I think they cover part of the living expenses or tuition fees, but there are no full scholarships for bachelor programs. You can also find that in our scholarships website for bachelors, but I think it's good to have in mind that it will not cover the whole program. So I think we also have the Orange, no, not the Orange Knowledge, but the Holland Scholarship, I don't know. And I think that's like a contribution to your expenses, but it's like a 5,000 euro contribution per year, and of course that's not going to cover the tuition fee, but it can help you with your living expenses. And maybe international organizations also offer scholarships. You can check that also maybe in the government of your country or something, but specifically for Wageningen, they're just like a couple of options and they're not full scholarships. Do you have other questions?
Yes.
Oh, you go.
Okay. There's a question from Nadia again, and they ask how long the winter and summer holidays are. Well, the summer holidays, it depends. If you have resits, it's usually about 1.5 months. If you don't have resits, then it's 2 months. So again, please don't have resits. And for the winter holidays, they usually last about 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah,
This year was, was it 2 weeks?
I think so. Or-
Almost 2 weeks, 10 days, it's a bit more. I feel like this year was longer than the previous year, but yeah, let's
Yeah.
say 2 weeks. Like in between Christmas, like I remember I still had exam the 23rd of December, and then
Yeah,
we
me
started in, we started again in January in the first week or something. So you'll have a bit of a break for Christmas.
All right. Well, I think we have a last comment from Alia that she will be graduating in 2024, so maybe she will join us in another webinar. If you have any questions, Alia and all the rest, you can ask the email students@WURt.nl, and thank you so much for joining us today. Again, for our viewers, if you still have questions, please contact us at the email students@WURt.nl, and if there are questions specific to admissions and requirements, you can contact the Student Service Center at ssc@WURt.nl. I think we have had a good overview of how it is to study in Wageningen and about our study programs. Thank you so much, Lidevai and Chiara, for being here with us and helping us answer the questions, and thank you to our viewers. We hope to see you here in Wageningen. Bye-bye.